Z.7. Okay, this is constant rate of change. All right, so if you remember from the notes, constant rate of change, this is the same. Well, I gotta click my pen first. So constant rate of change this is the same as slope. Okay, and what was slope? Slope was the change in y over fraction bar, our change in x. Okay, so we're looking for this constant rate of change. So the graph shows how the total number of pieces Jerry knows how to sing depends on the number of weeks takes voice lesson. So the question is going to ask us here, where's the rate of change? All right, so look at our rate of change. What we need to do is we're going to identify a couple of points. All right, so there's a point here I know that's going to be 0, 1. And if I follow this line, here's another point, another point, another point, and another point. Okay, so we'll say over 1 up 3. So 1, 3 is another point. Okay, so my change in y, I'm gonna put y over x. How does my y change? Well, I'm gonna do with those y's, these y values right here. I'm gonna subtract them. All right, and I'm gonna do 3 minus 1 over, and I'm gonna subtract my x values. 1 minus 0. One thing to pay attention to is, all right, I started right here with this bottom point. So this bottom point, this was my first number, okay, my top and bottom. Do not flip those numbers. If you start with this point, okay, you have to start with this point in the numerator and the denominator. I can't have 3 minus 1 and 0 minus 1. Okay, it wouldn't make any sense. So once I subtract those, 3 minus 1 is 2. All right, 1 minus 0 is 1. So the answer here would just be 2. So 2 pieces per week. Well, I got to click on it first. So that'd be 2 there. Good work. All right, so another one. The graph shows the number of plants Garrett can have in his backyard related to the number of seed packets he purchases. So what's the rate of change? So that last example I showed you all how to mathematically do it. All right. Now, if you're not mathematical, what if you're visual? So remember, change in y over change in x. Let's look at y. Okay, your y. I'm gonna change colors here to help us out. Your y is vertical. Okay, your y-axis goes up and down. So one thing I want us to remember, changing y, we're gonna think of the word rise. Okay, and your change in x, this is horizontal. Okay, change in x is horizontal. We're gonna think run. All right, rise over run. You're gonna hear that a lot. Rise over run. Rise over run. The way we think run is because, like, when you go run, I can't run vertically, but I can run on the ground or on the road or the grass or whatever. So rise over run. We're going to find 2 points again. All right, here's a point right here. Here's another point, another point, another point. So when we go from point to point, we're going to draw stair steps. All right, it's kind of like I call it a road map. We're following the roads to get to these certain points. How many did I go up here? 4 to 6. I went up 2. How many I go up here? 2. How many I go up here? 2. I'm rising 2 each time, okay? So my rise is 2. Run. What's our run? Once we rose 2, we ran how many? We went across 1. Once we rose 2, we went across 1. Rose 2, we went across 1. So my run is constantly 1. And we're going to get an answer of 2. All right, so let's check it out and see if it's correct. So 2 plants, not 23. Correct. Okay, so 2 different methods here. Okay, you can find points. So like here's a point, click your pen, read. Here's a point, here's a point, here's a point. So you could do rise and run. Okay, or you could pick 2 points. All right, so you have an X and a Y, and we'll call the second one X1, Y1. All right, you would just subtract those. So like you would just do Y1 minus Y over X1 minus X and get your answer. All right, so in this particular problem here, I'm not going to do this problem, pay attention to this. How do they number these? Some of you are going to count these, oh, up 1 over this many. No, no, no. You go up 10 over 40 because they count by 10. So pay attention to that. Okay. So you can visually do rise and run, or you can just pick 2 points, subtract them, find your change in X over your change in Y.